interlude, and we we uh we will be. Let me stop playing. We will be back in a second. Hold on, hold on. Okay, we have. Okay, my name is Anthony, and I have two guests with me today. So I'm very excited about that. I hope everybody is doing good. Um, That's right. We're on live. We're gonna get this thing done one way or another. What's up to y'all? What's up? Are you looking for a YouTube channel where you can learn a great deal about what it's like to be visually impaired? Well, look no further because Third Eye Visions is for you. Go to the YouTube channel, put in the search bar 3RD EYE Visions slash Anthony. That's Third Eye Visions slash Anthony, and you will find all the videos that will be very educational and worth watching. Okay. All right. Welcome to Third Eye Visions, where we stop playing, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind. Today's topic is a hot one. Before I do that, let me say I am not changing my format, just in case you all are wondering. Just trying to show some diversity because we all know that there is more to life than just blindness. Now, we have a young black visually impaired, see how I made the connection, woman who is going to answer the question: should black people still complain about oppression? I have my sidekick who needs to be kicked in the side from time to time from her YouTube channel, Alita Donaldson. She will be changing the name of her channel. Talk for a second. What's up, Alita?
Hey, what's going on, Anthony? Yeah, I am changing my name and I put it up. It's Alita's Humble Life now.
Now, y'all
So
go
yeah,
support that.
but I'm doing good.
You doing all right? You doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited about this. I'm doing wonderful.
So today I bring you my guest, Christy. Uh, Make sure y'all hit the notification bell after y'all subscribe. Please like, share, and comment. May not be in that order, but do what you're supposed to do because I need y'all support. I love y'all support. Thank you. So, with that being said, Christy, are you there?
I'm here.
Welcome to the Shizzo.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, that's what's up with it. Now, we're going to talk to you about should black people still complain about oppression. Give us a little bit of history about yourself. Talk loud so everybody can hear you about yourself, and a little history about you and your visual impairment, so people can know how I make the connection. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name
And
is
Christy's
Christy. I can't
I'm
hear you.
sorry.
It's
Go ahead.
breaking up bad.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Christy, and I'm from the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. I have been visually impaired since birth, and I went to both public school and the school for the visually impaired. So I've had experience with both sides of the spectrum, education wise. After school, after high school, I went to college and I finished in massage therapy. And at the moment, I'm just working on getting my massage therapy license.
Okay. Well, you have something to talk about. Why don't you tell us, as it relates to should black people stop complaining about oppression or being oppressed for that matter? You were talking to me off camera about it. Let's give them a little detail about what if you feel that way. I'm quite sure you do, and why you feel that way.
Um, well, I don't know how really we came up with the conversation. It was just It just happened randomly. But the reason I feel like that as a black community we should uh I guess avoid the complaining about oppression and just talking down about each other as our community, um as far as shifting the atmosphere and becoming more positive. That's the main reason why I say that. And then I also feel that we should just start working towards better futures for ourselves, because no one has given anyone anything. And honestly, a lot of people feel like we've been oppressed because of white privilege, but I don't really believe that white privilege it exists, because there's a lot of black people that are unfortunate, living in poverty, poor education, that type of thing, bad jobs or unemployment. There's also that issue in every other race. There's also the issue of addiction, drugs, and things like that. So it's not just targeted to us. And a lot of times our community feels targeted. And that's my main reason. Those are my main reasons why I feel like uh as a whole, we're not really oppressed. I mean, I think that the system has been built on some sort of standards at some point, but over time it's been manipulated.
Okay. Alita, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
yeah, she mentioned the fact that there's no such thing as white privilege. And let me say this, and I want you to comment on that, Alita. We're not here to bash you. This is your honest opinion, and I appreciate you coming on and talking about it. What's your opinion about that, what she just said?
Um, I'm still trying to process what she said. A lot of what she said. So we're all here to speak about our opinions and what we feel and what we think. And we all may have different opinions, and we all may not agree. It may be that way. But let me just say this. First of all, let me just take it back a little bit, because we spoke a little bit as well before the show. And I heard you say that our people sold us. A lot of people believe that our people, as meaning, but I will challenge you to go and look up more of the history yourself and find out if it was actually the Africans that sold, or if it was just something that was told to you. And that is what you have been able to have that was given to you. Just if that was what was in the history books, what was taught to you, what was said to you, or have you gotten those facts on your own? Now, the history books, text-wise, it's going to show you those type of things. They're going to tell you those type of things. But you dig deep yourself, and dig and see who literally got possession of our people. It was actually Arabs. They were not Africans that sold us. They pulled that story to keep us in a sense, in a frame of mind of saying that we turned on each other. This is facts. If you go and look it up, you can Google it. It's information. You have to search for it, though. They're not going to give it to you.
Okay.
And the oppression that you were speaking about, oppression means that a race or a person withholds something from you, right? And oppression is what breeds what you were talking about, right? You said that, our people as though they're entitled. Well, when you think about the Jews and what they went through in Holocaust, when you think of the Indians and what they went through, and how they were killed off, and they were murdered and massacred and whatnot, those people as a race and as a people were They got reparations. They got money from the things that they went through.
Mm.
I
No.
think that our oppression is what built America. It built up everything in America. It built everything of America. The railroad systems. We built up buildings. We built up streets. We build up America. Our enslavement build up America.
Right.
So with
No.
that being said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I
Go
was
ahead, sweetie.
agreeing.
Okay. But let me chime in and say a little louder when you speak up,
Go
Christy.
ahead.
With that being said, I want to. I mean, I'm not, as I mentioned, I'm not here to bash you. I'm just gonna allow you to share your opinion. You stated that there's no such thing as white privilege. Are you? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, to a certain extent,
Okay, explain. Go ahead.
because like I was saying, I believe that just like black people struggle, there's white people and other races as well that struggle as well, and a lot of people. I mean, the only privilege that I see is, appearance. And when I say appearance, I mean if a black guy drives a nice vehicle, dresses nice, has a nice attire, he might be a dope dealer, or he might be working undercover for someone. But if a white man does it, they just look at, oh, he's probably just a successful lawyer, or he's a landlord with plenty property. You know what I'm saying? I think that's in that when it comes to that, that's white privilege, because so many people look at black people as doing suspicious activity, and sometimes it's not even us. There's major Mexican drug lords and prostitution rings and things like that. I don't want to get on that topic because that's not what we're particularly talking about. But that's just to defend the point that it's not always us that has to struggle, or that do things and it's looked at like that. And that's the only way that I see the white privilege being in effect. But as far as finances and struggling with families, and I mean, we all go through that. We all it's no respect of person to have struggles in any aspect of life. It's not, I mean, education, there's many dropouts, and it's not just black people or African American people. I mean, the minorities, I just think, are naturally counted out.
Okay, Alita.
I think that you look at it so much differently, because if you think about it, and I agree with you on the white privilege, that situation and that scenario that you compared, I understand that. But what that is a stereotype, right? So us as black people, our black men, if our black man drives a Mercedes Benz and he has on regular street clothes, I'm not saying the street clothes where the young men are sagging and have the pants off their butt. I'm talking about just regular street clothes, and they get out of the car. They are stereotyped as a drug dealer. Okay, and so they say if a white man wears a suit and he has on a nice apparel and he drives a very nice car, that means that he has to be a businessman, a lawyer. So those are stereotypes. That's not white privilege. White privilege exists. I was to lead up to that. It exists because of the oppression that black people went through in this country, right? It exists because black people have been pushed down. We have not been, I understand when you say, oh, I feel like we feel entitled. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that we are entitled, but they built the systems of welfare. They built food stamps. They built the called projects. And these are the forms of oppression themselves, right? If you feel as though you can get on food stamps and welfare, you're going to feel like, okay, and then if a black man gets in trouble and he causes himself to get a felony, he's no longer allowed into the so-called projects, that housing sector. So if he's not allowed to be in that apartment or that house or whatever with that woman, he can't protect his family. right? That's a form of oppression because he can't be with his wife. That entails now the family is pulled apart. But the white privilege is what you have to understand is when we went through slavery, the things we went through in life, that gave them a 400 or 200 year kickstand, right? They didn't have to do any work. We did all work. We did everything for them. We built the country. We worked, we picked the cotton, we took care of their children. We breastfed our ancestors breastfed their kids. Like we did all of those things and they kicked back and they sat back on the backs of black people, on the backs of slaves. And that is white privilege. Now their grandkids and their grandkids are able to buy land. Those grandkids own banks. They own housing communities. They have the laws. They've written the laws. That's how white privilege exists.
Okay.
On every front.
Now, by her.
Go
Okay.
ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I can agree to that, but
Mhm.
A little louder.
to top that off, kind of piggyback on what you were saying. All that is true, and they did enslave us, but a lot of people don't realize that there were black slave owners too. There were other people, like basically, long as you had money, you had power. And I have done research on this, so it's not like they don't teach us about this stuff in school. They don't even when they talk about history and when they talk, it's a lot of it's very very closed discussion. Like teachers and educators, they don't like to talk about these things because it can get uncomfortable.
Let me
But I mean, as
let me
far as
let me
even
interject
now,
real quick.
like it's not their fault. It's not the current white people fault. What the white people did 100 years ago, they shouldn't have to be,
Baby,
I guess, persecuted
baby,
for that.
Okay.
baby,
Go ahead.
baby, listen. I got 2 points to make really quick. I understand you're saying it's not their fault for the things that their foreparents did, right?
Right?
But we're still suffering because of what our ancestors went through. But
True.
they're still privileged and still gaining beneficial factors because of what their grandparents did
True.
100 years ago. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
But that's
So
not for all black people.
you can't
Okay.
stop the cycle.
Okay. Let us.
What
Go
happened?
ahead.
I was saying that's not for all black people because
I'm
there's
sorry,
still
go
black
ahead.
people that. I was saying that's not for all black people though, because there's still black people succeeding. There are black businesses. There are black people that are able to afford and buy land, and it's because they worked for it, and they may not have had to work in the same manner that the white people work because most of them inherited the riches that they have. But it's not like it's not like it's unachievable. It's not like we haven't come to a place that we do have a level, an extent of equality. And I
Well,
mean, we're not all the way there, but we
I
have come.
agree. I agree.
well, let me say this. What about those who are not
I agree.
able to? What about those who haven't come to that point? Or what about those who are not able to be, as you mentioned, be able to work on their own and get it out the mud, sort of? What do you say to those individuals? Because as a whole, the entire race has been, has come under some form of oppression. Now, how you deal with it is up to you. And I understand what you're saying, how you deal
Right.
with it, you come out. But there are plenty times in history does show that when the African American race has tried to put together some situations, Black Wall Street, and thinking that there has been situations where these businesses have been torn down and blah blah blah. But all that discourages people in most cases when you put together and you build things in order to have just for yourself, and it comes along, it becomes burned down or demolished in whatever way, shape, or form. That sort of, in a sense, perpetuates what has been happening over the years. I mean, still, it's not allowing for many African Americans to sort of get ahead. Do you understand what I'm saying?
For sure, for sure. I get what you're saying, and to that, I mean, it depends on like if they built it themselves or if people, who have come previously, who have already came and gone, built it. Because I feel like sometimes And this is why I was mainly defeating the whole thing in the first place, is because sometimes people don't feel like they I feel like people don't understand the value of things that they didn't have to work for. And with that being said, if they didn't have to build it, they might just be like, "Oh man, you effed up my uncle's stuff, or you burnt down my kinfolks, you know, what they've been working for all their life." But I mean, you more peed off about it because most likely you didn't inherit it, not because you worked for it. And it's a lot of times that as a black culture, sometimes we don't appreciate where we are. And if you can't appreciate where you've been and where you're at, how can you get anywhere? And it's like, how can you want to be somewhere or complain about where you're not if you're not working for it, if you're not working towards it? And it can be discouraging. Like a lot of even bringing up the situation with the protests and then burning down cities and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff was targeted towards black businesses and things like that, small businesses in general. And it's like, well, I mean, how can y'all say y'all pro Black Lives Matter, but then you burn down the businesses? And it's like, it's really just a misconception for some people.
Go ahead, Alita.
I mean, I get, I feel you, right? But if you watch the news, if you were able to watch the news, see a lot of the broadcasting, the things started to come out. It was a lot of people that were not black that was burning down these businesses.
Exactly.
It was a lot of people that were not black that was doing a lot of things in the black community. But I wanted to make 2 points really, really quick. My first point is, yeah, you say that there were black slave owners, right? You said that black slave owners, we owned each other. Let me just say my opinion. I believe that if you were a slave owner back in the day when we were slaves and had some working for you and you were paying, not slave owners. I mean, because I've seen documentaries, I've read books where we were trying to build each other up. So you would have a black family come in and work for you and you would give them wages. Now, as far as black slave owners, I'm not saying that didn't in America. I haven't read about it. I don't know about that. Just on the slaves and treating them irrationally like the white man did us in slavery. I don't know about that. Two, my point was, every single time that we had a man that was able to speak about black people uniting, he was murdered. If you don't have a leader, someone that would stand up for your community, someone that would stand up for the color of your skin, somebody that would stand up and say this is wrong, we are still oppressed. And we are still being kicked down because still to this, really, we are still oppressed. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But the people that are being shot down in the street, being killed, being murdered, these black people, including Breonna Taylor, that was shot in her bed. Amari, he was killed in the street. This is oppression, baby. These are fear tactics. These are these people that say, listen, we're going to shoot these people down and we're going to let you see this on TV, and we're going to make sure you know that the changes has not changed the way you believe it is, and we're still in control and we're still in demand, and you will not be able to get up the way you want to. Counterparts make more money than we do. That is oppression.
You want to comment on that? That's good. Want to comment on that, Chris?
I couldn't really hear much of anything. The audio was going out really, really bad on my end.
Basic. Go ahead, sum it up what you were saying.
No, go ahead, Anthony.
Still going out really bad.
Okay, well let me ask you this then. After the it's been like 15-20 minutes thus far, and I'm gonna ask the question again. Do you still think that we should not be talking about oppression as black people? After you've learned kind of like
can't really hear.
Do you feel that we should still be not talking about oppression after 20 minutes within this conversation? You can't hear us?
I think that oppression exists. Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plug these headphones.
Can y'all
Okay,
hear
you
me?
saying yeah, oppression exists, and what happens?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I was saying oppression exists, but what I was more defending is black people complaining and being entitled and feeling like yes they do owe us, but at the same time, because we're not getting what we want, we still should have the motivation to get up and go work for whatever that we want and try to accomplish our dreams, even though we have adversity and difficulty, and even though this is not a perfect world, and we're still, for the most part, have experiencing inequality, racism, even police brutality, even things like that. But it shouldn't take over us to the point that we just sit back and take whatever they give us, or sometimes it's just better to work for it, even though they do owe us. But that's almost like lending someone some money and really throwing a pity party and letting your bills go unpaid because you're still waiting on them to give you what you lended them. It's better to just go, move on, get what you need, and make sure that your needs and your family needs are met. That's just where I stand
So
on it.
are you saying that, are you saying people in your community is like that? They just sit around, they don't, you know what I mean? They don't, you don't know nobody that has been working their whole life for the things that they
No, it's not that. I
have.
just
You don't
feel
know
that way.
anybody around you in your community that feels as though they can get it by any means illegally, but I mean, work for what they want and
Yeah.
have generational wealth. There's nobody around you that you've seen that does that is African American or black or whatever you want to call it.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I know plenty of people. I mean, I have many educators in my family and lawyers and nurses, things like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, as a community, a lot of people sit back and they complain about where we have been historically. And I mean, they owe us something, but I mean, we're not going to just get it just throwing pity parties and sitting around waiting for it. It's better to just move on and do what we can as a people, as a society, as productive citizens in America. Like, I mean, it is what it is. If we get our reparations, we get them, and if we don't, so be it. That's just where I stand on it. And a lot of people are limiting themselves and limiting their opportunities because they're still sitting back complaining about where we're not instead of trying to get there.
Go ahead, Ali.
I mean, you say in your community, a lot of the people in your community just sit back and wait on people to hand them things. And you say that you have people in your family that work and that are nurses and lawyers and whatnot. So it's not like you don't have someone, or you don't have the role model, or you don't have the people that can show you that this is what we let me tell you something. Listen, in the early 50s and 40s, Black America owned a lot of land. And like Anthony's telling you, Black Wall Street, we had that. We also had a whole community in Florida called Rosewood that got burnt down. We had other communities in different states that were ran through, that was massacred, where people were killed, massacred. They still have graves. So I'm talking about the oppression and why we still feel the way we feel, because we're still feeling the oppression, because the oppression still exists.
And let me say
and
this.
if you breed oppression, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, if you breed oppression, go ahead. Finish your thought.
If you breed oppression, you're going to get, it's always going to be an uprising in an oppression, right? It's always going to be. It may take 40 years that country to get burnt half down. Like half of the country got tore up. But look how long it took. The rise in LA, that happened because people were tired. The things that happen it systematically in the country happens because Black people are tired of being treated a certain type of way. And I just want to know where do you get your sense of feeling that Black people feel entitled? Where do you feel, where do you get this from? Like, are you learning this from someone? Is someone telling you this? Because when we're young, we're very impressionable. But I mean, if you see it in your community and you don't have the role model, if you don't have the ample people in your life to show you how to go out and get it, and you think that all Black people or most Black people feel entitled,
right?
I just wanted to know who all is complaining? Where do you get this from?
Go ahead.
I'm not saying that I get this from anywhere. I'm just saying I've noticed it throughout the years, being around different people, I've traveled a lot. And I'm not saying that people don't get up and go to work. I never said none of that. And I think I guess I'm not clearly stating my view on it, or maybe it was misunderstood, but I never said that nobody's working for anything. And I'm very aware of places being burnt down and things like that because of anger, and the Black people are tired, which I get that. But at the same time, there are a lot of people that are blaming a lot of things that need to be changed, reformation and things like that. They're complaining and talking about the system needs, to be reconstructed and things like that, which is true because people have came and manipulated the system and pretty much rigged it. I'm gonna just put it that way. And instead of us complaining about it, or just taking what we can get, the minimum, is best if we just push forward. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying no one isn't pushing forward. There are a lot of people, a lot of young Black people, and just Black people in general, that's still seeking, further education, advancing and exceeding in different professions. I'm not discrediting that or ignoring that, failing to acknowledge whatever. I'm just saying overall, as Black people, we just need to be more educated as far as what we can do to continue to push forward. And we are oppressed, and it's unfortunate, it's messed up. I can't say what I want to say, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just continuously talking about, oh, well, they burning this down, they're burning that down, well, this person got shot today. I mean, we just have to push forward, even if it becomes almost feeling impossible. It is possible. Anything is possible. Every day we wake up and we have breath in our body, that's an opportunity to do something.
Let me say this, and it's the honest truth, and there's no feelings to be hurt because we all grown. I just think at this point in time, what my opinion is that you are straddling the fence because you have to you because what you're saying, and then you go back and say this. So in essence, a strong believer in what you believe in stands put on whatever in terms of saying, okay, this is true, but then this is true. You can't. In my instance, you got to be one or the other.
I am one or the other, but I'm not saying that we're not oppressed. I never said that, and I think that's the view that's being. I guess I don't know. Maybe I put it that way, but I never said we weren't oppressed. What I'm saying is sitting back and complaining and whining and crying about it, or not doing things to better ourselves that's you're doing yourself a disservice.
But that's my question. Like, where are you seeing this? Where are you getting that from? Like, that's what I wanted to know.
Everybody's saying that.
Like, where? That's why I asked the question. Not everyone.
Okay. Let me say this.
Okay.
Do you think that black people are complaining or just stating the facts? Which one do you think? Because I'll let you answer that. Go ahead. Do you think they're just complaining or they're stating what is actually the facts?
is different for different people. Some people know the facts and they're stating the facts, and some people are just not trying to change anything and just dwelling on it.
Okay, let me ask you
No
this.
point in dwelling on it. That's what I've been saying.
Let me
No
say
point
this
in
then.
dwelling on what exists.
Let me directly say this. Christy, do you think black people are complaining, or do you think black people are stating the facts?
I think people are dwelling on the existence of the whole oppression thing instead of trying to make it better.
Okay, let me ask you again. And I'm not trying to bash you by all means. I just because I'm trying to get you. You're not answering the question.
I
Do you
am
think?
answering the question. I don't know what answer you want.
Do you think black people are complaining, or do you think black people, when they talk about it, they're stating the facts in terms of what transpired over the years, which definitely has some type of influence on what's going on today? So do you think they're complaining, bitching, or do you think they are just basically stating the facts?
Like I said, I think a lot of them are complaining.
She said that they're dwelling on it.
I think they're complaining.
She said they're dwelling on it.
Okay, so you said that they're complaining about it, right?
I think
Okay.
a lot of people are complaining and dwelling on it.
Okay, cool. So in essence, what you think
That's
that?
what I've been saying this whole time.
Okay, I just want to sum up everything you said because it's coming to the end. So in essence, you think that black people should and you think that black people should stop complaining and stop realizing what transpired in the past and just focus on what on today and move forward, no matter what the situations may have or occur or what have you, right? I'm just asking.
No.
Okay,
I'm
what do you
not
think?
saying that they should ignore or not acknowledge or not have their bad feelings about it. Everybody gonna have their days where they're simply peed off and just discouraged in general. And that could be with anything in life. That's not just this whole oppression thing and history and everything that seems to just be going in circles and circles and circles. But if you acknowledge something, that's the first step to solving a problem. And if you
Okay.
acknowledge it, continue to acknowledge it, then you're not going to get anywhere. And that's all I'm saying. Instead of just being aware of what's going on.
Can I answer a question really quick?
Okay, well, let me finish. Go ahead. You finish. You finished, Chris?
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it's better to just be aware of it and do what we can as a people to improve the situation. And it's not easy, and I'm not saying it's easy, but we have to, just stick together, work together, and stay positive.
Okay. Go ahead, Alita.
Okay, so my question to you is, have you ever been in a situation where you were seriously discriminated on? Have you ever dealt with that before?
I have.
Okay. Okay.
So with that being said,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
With that being said, do you think so? And that's just like I want to keep saying that because I don't want nobody to think he brought on here. So no, I did not bring her on here. She agreed, and we're allowing her to state her opinions about certain things. I mean, some of them is agreeable, some of them is not, and that's basically the premises of this show, to allow people to come and open their minds and not only just talk about blindness and whatnot. It's basically try to educate those who don't know, and as I had done with Adele and whatnot, and I wanted to complete this particular series that I was working on. But as I conclude, I'm gonna stop right there because we could probably continue and going all day. I have to make some move, but this was very enlightening. I strongly feel that we still are oppressed, and there are limitations in terms of what we can do, and it's obviously things are more. They're more broadcasted. They're seen more now because of what's going on today. And I'm not about to go into that, but the fact that it is, there's still oppression, and how we rise above it is basically how we rise above it. I mean, how some of them decide to not do anything about it. That's on them. But I'm never going to ignore the fact that we are continuously going to be an oppressed set of people. That's my take on it. I'm gonna let you.
I just want to say one thing.
I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Chris.
sorry.
So what do you want to say about it? You have any last minute words? Christy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, last minute words.
Like I was saying, my whole argument on this, yes, we've oppressed Yes, we've had disadvantages, but my whole stance is for us to be encouraged, for us to continue to push forward no matter what. Because I mean, some things we can't change, but we can do what we can to assist in bettering the situation. And that's why I was saying to not dwell on it, acknowledge it, but keep pushing. And it's like sometimes it's just it's easier to just get stuck in your feelings or stuck feeling how you feel. And opinions are opinions. I respect opinions, but we just gotta push forward. We oppressed. We've been through some messed up stuff, but it's not just the white people that has done this to us, and we're not the only target. We haven't been the only ethnicity that has been enslaved and has had this type of thing. And discrimination happens between everybody. It does. Discrimination and oppression. I mean, a lot of other cultures have gotten their reparations, but they're still experiencing what we go through. So we're not by ourselves on this.
Okay. Alita?
I would just say my last words, I would just say to Christy is I think that I would get around more people that have a lot of push and grind behind the community. I don't think that you've been exposed to those type of people. I don't know, but I feel like I feel like a lot of your statements were kind of contradictive. And I just want you to be able to get around a body of people that can show you that there are a lot of people in these United States that fought for or are fighting for a change in this country for Black people. And that is different things to better our community as a whole. So I just would get around different people. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just agreeing. I was saying for sure, and I'm aware of a lot of things. I wasn't speaking towards anything that I wasn't speaking from the perspective that I don't know. I don't have connections, if that makes sense. I was speaking more of the perspective of just the negative pits that people decide to leave themselves in. And I wasn't trying to be contradictory. It's just I think a lot of things were misunderstood as far as what I said. And if I didn't clearly present some of my thoughts, then that's my bad, my fault. But I understand what y'all saying. And I have.
You can always do a part two.
But I will say that everybody that seems to be for us are not for us. So it's important that we, stay woke.
Okay.
The Black Lives Matter movement, that's a whole story in itself, but it's not for us.
We'll end it on stay woke. We'll end it right there.
Not only to stay connected, but to know who you're connected to and what they really represent. Because there are a lot of, false, fake people. There's a lot of snakes in the grass, and that's just how it is.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is end it, and that on that note. Now, if you want to hear more of this topic and more of the discussion, you may probably talk with Alita. She probably wanted to continue on her channel. I don't know. After we end this, y'all can probably link up or whatever, because this is I have to go catch the bus. But this is a very interesting story and topic. And I wanted to share as much as I can to open your mind, and that's what it's all about on this particular channel, Third Eye Visions. I want to thank Alita Donaldson for coming on. I definitely want to thank Christy for sharing her candid viewpoints about should Black people still talk about being oppressed. And I hope everybody understood where she was coming from and whatnot. So with that being said, y'all, please continue to subscribe, and definitely subscribe to these channels, man. This education is the key. So I love y'all, and I'm out. Hold on, y'all.